Okay, this is kind of sort of part 2 of the video Hope by Hasbro Toys. I had a couple thoughts after I finished that one, plus that was getting kind of long. Here's the funny thing. I mentioned in that video the book of Hebrews. I'm like, is there such a thing? Okay, and the whole point of what I was saying in that video is the fact that Christians tend to, well, it's all about the New Testament, and sometimes they'll sprinkle Old Testament stuff into a sermon, just I guess to make you feel like it's all supported. The whole Bible supports what you believe in. Okay, so I'm looking through because I'm like, and then I mentioned Ephesians. I'm pretty sure Ephesians is the other one. I'm like, well, I don't know if there's a Hebrew, but I know there's an Ephesians. Okay, I was actually trying to think of a book from the Old Testament when I was throwing those names out. And guess what? I'm looking at my the names in order of the books of the Bible in my Ryrie. And there is a Hebrews and there is an Ephesians. And they're both in the New Testament. Isn't that funny? It's just like underlining the point I was trying to make, that, you know, we as Christians, it's all about the New Testament, and we're very unfamiliar with the Old Testament. I did actually have all the books memorized at one point, way back when, like in my early 20s. So hey, it's only been 30 years ago. But it's just, that just proves what I'm trying to say, that it's all about the New Testament. Even what I think is the Old Testament, names of books in the Old Testament, they were New Testament books. So anyway, the other thing I wanted to say, this is going to be a short little add-on to that other video. I was thinking too after I finished that the moment you fall in love with your beliefs, whatever your beliefs are, the moment you fall in love with them, you lose all objectivity. I think that's the right word. You lose your ability to step back, and really look at what you believe. You know, you come up with what you, I think every Christian on earth has a different belief than every other Christian on earth. There's no two Christians that believe the same thing. We all, whatever it is that we believe, is a mirror of what we have in our hearts. It's a reflection of who we are inside. That's what we believe. And we all go through the Bible and we find things in the Bible that support what we believe. And everything else that's in there that doesn't support what we believe, we don't look at it. We tune it out. We put walls around what we believe and do everything in our power to protect that belief that we love, that we've put on a pedestal and love. You know, our idea of Jesus, our idea of God, our idea of what is good and what is bad. All these things, we fall in love with that. That's basically an extension of who we are and what we love most about ourselves. That's basically what we create as our God, and that we will protect, and we'll even dump friends on, you know, if we have a cherished friendship, or even somebody in our family, and they become an atheist. They suddenly become a threat to us because they're starting to say things that make us doubt what we believe and put into question, and it almost seems like an attack against this cherished belief that we have. We will rather disown family members or cut off a friendship than see our beliefs that we love so much threatened or put at risk. You know, I think the moment we fall in love with what we believe, it becomes very, very hard for us to see anything else but what we believe. And that's the problem. Christians are in love with what they believe, and it upsets them very much when it seems that those beliefs are under attack. Those are cherished beliefs, and they're under attack. They don't want to hear that their own Bible says things about their cherished Jesus and their cherished God that go against what they have decided is true. You know, they don't want to hear about what's in the Old Testament. They don't want to hear what's in the New Testament that they have chosen to ignore. You know, Like the verse where Jesus curses the fig tree when the tree is not in season for bearing fruit. You know, every kind of fruit bearing tree on this earth has a season, a time of year when it bears fruit. And the rest of the time it doesn't bear fruit. And along comes Jesus, who's supposed to be this perfect Son of the living God. And he's hungry and he wants a fig off of a tree, but guess what? It's not in season for figs. So what does he do? He curses the tree because it doesn't have any figs on it. Does that sound like something a little spoiled brat would do? It does to me. And I never knew that verse existed. Probably because it's not showing God, or it's not showing Jesus in a very flattering way. And I didn't want to see Jesus as anything but the way I wanted to see Jesus. So I never really paid attention to that verse. And I never really paid attention to the Old Testament because the Old Testament really doesn't depict God in a very nice way. And certainly I didn't want to read about God running around committing genocide and ordering pregnant women cut open with swords. I didn't want to read about that because that's not the God I want to believe in. That's not the God that I like to think is a loving, merciful Father in heaven watching out for me who loves me. So I just ignore those kind of stuff. I put up blinders and I just tune it out. Never mind that that's the foundation of the entire religion. I just tune it out because it goes against my cherished beliefs. So anyway, that's what I kind of wanted to add. I think if you're a believer of anything and you love deeply, it really, 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 really matters to you, those beliefs. I mean, that you would pick up a sword and run out and defend those beliefs. The moment you start to feel that way about your own beliefs, that's the moment you can no longer think objectively. That's the moment that you have blinders up and walls up and you are protecting your beliefs, you know, like they're in a castle and you're protecting the loved ones in the castle. You're on the wall with your weapons, ready to fend off the enemy. And I think the moment that you start to feel that way about your own beliefs, that's the moment you have blinders on and you're incapable of seeing anything else but what you believe in. And I think that's the thing that makes the difference between an atheist and a Christian. A Christian has this belief system that they have fallen in love with. They have this personal relationship with this God. And they've convinced themselves that this is real and it really matters to them. It's all about this relationship. They can't even imagine living without it. It's so important to them. That's what they have to lose. An atheist doesn't have anything to lose. An atheist doesn't have anything to fall in love with. There's nothing to fall in love with. We don't believe in something. You know, maybe we believe in something else that is dear to us. Like maybe we believe in the love of our husband or the love of our parents or the love of our children. That's all very dear to us. I mean, atheists are not without beliefs. We just don't believe in a God. That's the only thing that is different about an atheist from a religious person. We don't believe in a God. There's nothing cherished in us that we will defend with our whole selves. You know, if somebody comes along and proves that there's a God, we would be open to that because we don't cherish the fact that we don't believe in a God. It's not a belief for us. It's just a thing. We don't believe in a God. It's not a belief. The pedestal that Christians put their God on and shine a light on it and bow down before it, our pedestal is empty. If we have anything at all on our pedestal, it's reality, it's facts, it's science, it's the search for understanding and the search for knowledge and the search for answers. If we have anything on our pedestal, that's what's there. And if you want to put your God on our pedestal, you really need to show that he exists. Because until you do, he doesn't have a chance in hell of standing on our pedestal because what we have on our pedestal, we have evidence and proof to show exists, and that's why it's on our pedestal. I don't know if this makes any sense at all, but yeah, I think that's the difference between a Christian and an atheist. We don't have a belief system that we have fallen in love with, that we are willing to defend so much that we would cut off a friendship or disown a family member. We don't have anything like that. We're not fighting to preserve a cherished belief. And Christians are, and that's why they get so upset and so strident. You want to call atheists strident, you should hear yourselves. Okay, so that's the end of part 2 of this thing. I just lots of thoughts going on today, I guess. So thanks for listening if you have. Bye.